Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the TCMMA podcast with your host, Chris Cross.
Whoa!
Dana White privilege.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby!
Dana White privilege. Privilege.
What's happening? It's your boy Chris Cross checking in. This is the TCMMA podcast. UFC 302 predictions in the bag. Check out the channel for fight-by-fight predictions, or make it easy on yourself. Go back to the last podcast and get all the predictions in one video. It's up to you. Check us out, Facebook, Instagram, at TCMMA podcast, or at Chris Cross MMA. So welcome. Let's get into what's going on today in the UFC as we approach UFC 302 this weekend. Well, there's a lot going on. Conor McGregor parties in Dublin 6 weeks before UFC 303. Unreal. We just talked about this in the last show, but did he drink? That's a question we got to answer. Jon Jones claims Stipe Miocic looks weak as new training footage hits the internet. Part of combat is deception. He's still making the case that Stipe should fight next. We all know Stipe was done as soon as he lost the belt, and it's been years since that happened. Robert Whittaker says, or alludes to the fact that if Khamzat Chimaev doesn't manage his pace, it's going to be an early night for him. And we'll get into his comments on that. Dricus du Plessis wants Israel Adesanya and Khamzat Chimaev fights before chasing UFC champ status, and I love to hear that. And notice he said Khamzat Chimaev. He didn't say Robert Whittaker. Now, if Robert Whittaker beats Khamzat, which isn't going to happen, right? But if he does, and Dricus beats Adesanya, then maybe he makes that move quicker or earlier than later. Ronda Rousey, here we go again, feels unwelcome to UFC events. Still playing the victim card, huh? I gave them everything I had, and it wasn't enough. Unreal. And Volkanovski says Southpaw Dustin the Diamond Poirier could catch safe Islam Makhachev. Yeah, if he can escape the ground game and all those type of things. So these are the storylines of what's going on. We're going to get into these storylines and look at the dude list. We'll break that down because we got fight week for a pay-per-view event. So we always get into the dude list. And also the Q&A is back. We haven't had one in several shows, but we'll get back at it today. Now first, Conor McGregor partied in Dublin. So there's all these videos hitting X, aka Twitter. Today you see Conor McGregor partying, dancing with Dee Devlin, his fiance. But no one caught him with a drink in his hand. Nobody caught him with a drink in his hand. So, it already begs the question, should he be out partying when he's got a fight scheduled against a very good fighter in Michael Chandler? Shouldn't he be focused on that? You're not going to see like Michael Chandler out partying. You're not going to see a lot of other UFC fighters out partying, right? And the thing is McGregor shouldn't be doing that as well. He should be chilling, getting his mind right, and regardless if it affects you for the fight, it's going to lead people to talk, right? It's going to lead people to talk and say, hey, should you be doing this? Shouldn't you be preparing for a fight? What's going on? Then if you lose, it looks bad. So it's more of, the perception than anything. I mean, going out one night, dancing with your fiance 6 weeks out from a fight isn't going to cause you too many problems, right? On fight week, he's going to be right. He's still training, all those type of things. But the perception is it looks bad because people want to see you. Well, really, people don't want to see you. They just want to know that you're training and staying out of the limelight. But it's Conor McGregor. That's not possible. It just isn't possible. Jon Jones claims Stipe Miocic looks weak as new training footage hits the internet. And yeah, he looks weak. He lost the belt a while back. And when I saw that, I said, okay, that's the end of Stipe. Yeah, he's going to fight still, but he's not going to be at that true form again. And John Jones is hyping up Stipe going into this fight because he knows he's going to win. It's going to be an easy fight for him. And, he gets to sit out for 6 months to a year, then fight, and sit out 6 months to a year. Next thing you know, it's 2 years later. And some of these guys like Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blades, etc., they're going to be long gone. Right? And it's just kind of like he's just taking his sweet time. And he gets paid handsomely when he fights. So he don't need to fight but once a year. Right? I mean, because when he fights, he's making big time money. But we went into this in detail, and it's just ridiculous that John Jones is fighting Stipe Miocic. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy. What has Stipe done to get a title shot? I mean, it's unreal. Tom Aspinall holds the interim belt. He still can't fight for the belt. I mean, it's wild. Robert Whittaker says if Khamzat Chimaev doesn't manage his pace, it's going to be an early night for him. And, you're already seeing this from Robert Whittaker. He's trying to get in Khamzat's head and saying, hey, you better not come out fast. That just tells you that Robert Whittaker's worried about that, right? He's trying to get in his head and say, hey, it's a 5-round fight. You better take it easy. If you don't manage your pace, you're going to run out of gas. And that will work in Robert Whittaker's favor. He'll, lull him to sleep, get him into the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, and he's got a major advantage there. Khamzat's got to get him out of this thing early. And Khamzat, I hope you're listening. You got to come in there and finish him in the 1st round. Just make it easy. Worry about 5 rounds later. Robert Whittaker told Fox Sports Australia it's a 5-round fight, so I'm sure his pacing's got to be a lot different. Otherwise, it's going to be an early night for him. So, he is wary of the fact that Chimaev is a strong grappler. He's strong on the feet. He says it's something he's aware of. He's got power. He's got a clean 1-2 down the pipe. I'm aware of it. I'm not underestimating it, but I can handle it. I don't have the striking, or I do have the striking superiority. At least he thinks he does. And I think Khamzat's superior to everybody. I don't think he's looked good against Usman or Gilbert Burns. I don't want to get on that fence, but the bottom line is he's superior to everybody and will eventually show it at the highest level. And if he's going to beat a Robert Whittaker or somebody in like quick, dramatic fashion, and then people are going to have to be like, whoa, and they're going to have to pay attention again. Right now, they're using some of those recent fights against him, but that time will certainly come to be the past very shortly. Speaking of middleweight division, too, Dricus du Plessis won Adesanya and Khamzat Chimaev fights before chasing UFC champ status. And the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because I noticed that he didn't say Robert Whittaker, right? He wants to beat everybody first. Robert Whittaker done. Wants to beat Adesanya, then wants to beat Khamzat. So if Robert Whittaker can beat Khamzat, then he gets Adesanya out of the way. He's not going to fight Robert Whittaker again. Then he's got some time to maybe go for the light heavyweight belt. And he should get if you're the champ and you're clearing out your division, you should get an immediate entry to a title fight. And that's a division that you never know. If you don't have to go through the pipeline, you can go right to the title. Anything is possible. He said, I believe beating Adesanya, if Khamzat beats Whittaker, beating Khamzat, that earns you a spot at light heavy, right? So, and that's assuming that Khamzat's going to beat Whittaker from his standpoint. But he's already assuming that, and he's going to have to deal with Khamzat at some point. Also saying that his focus is 100% at middleweight. So I'm liking everything I hear from Dricus du Plessis. Ronda Rousey feels unwelcome to UFC events. She's continuing to play the victim card, right? I gave them everything I had and it wasn't enough. Oh, boo-hoo. She's doing this to herself. She could have came to UFC events right away. Nobody would have thought anything of it. You have the fans on your side. They love you. You lost to Nunes, who ended up being a great fighter. Holly Holm, of course, great fighter. But now you've created this whole scenario. Ran away from the UFC. Haven't been back since. So yeah, if you come now, you're probably going to be booed. But it's not because of the media. It's not because of anyone else. It's because of yourself. Because when you stop showing up and you see all these other fighters there, first question is, what's going on? Then you start saying, the UFC doesn't love me or whatever. And you're not saying that in so many words. I'm paraphrasing. and that the media is coming after her. So now you put yourself in a position where the fans got to choose, and they don't see you there. They see you crying foul, and now you got a problem. Yeah, if you do come, there's probably going to be boos. But if you come to a few more, fans will get over it and get past it. But now you put yourself in a position that if you do come to a UFC event, there's probably going to be some unhappy people about it, unfortunately. You know, this is what happens when you play the victim. You isolate yourself into a corner where only some people are on your side. When instead you could have had it to where everybody's cool with you because you're the former champ, you're a badass chick, and that's the bottom line. But instead, you know, you're playing the victim card, and as we've seen, this doesn't work. It isolates you from a group of people, either side. You put you draw a line in the sand, and now you're on one side, and you're crying foul against the other side. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Volkanovski says Southpaw Dustin Poirier could catch safe Islam Makhachev. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. You know, we got Islam winning this fight. He's on the top of the dude list, of course. And therefore, you know, we got him winning, and people are with us, right? 81% say Islam Makhachev is going to win this fight when you look at the poll. And it's still early, right? But that's not going to change. It's at least 3 out of 4, 75%. So that makes sense to me all day, every day. Now, when you get into the dude list, you see Islam Makhachev at number 3. That means he's one of our favorite fighters. We put him against anybody. Khamzat's number 1, John Jones 2, although he's kind of making me mad lately, but he's still the man. It's just I want to see you fight the best of the best. But you don't get to nearly undefeated by fighting the best of the best. You fight those you have to fight. We've seen this by John Jones. We've seen this by Colby Covington. The only difference is Colby can't quite grab the title. But if he could, he would be fighting like a guy like Stipe too. He's not going to fight the number 1. He's going to fight like the 4th or 5th guy. Buy some time. Hope the 1 and 2 fall eventually. And then you have a division that's weakened, right? Then you fight the best fighter in the weakened division. Like John Jones is the best at this. And it's helped his career along the way. And he continues to follow the same script, and it works. Got Leon Edwards at 6, Sean O'Malley at 5. You know, then you see there at 20, you got Ian Machado Gary. He's coming up at UFC 303. If he beats MVP, we're going to have to move him way up. Make no mistake about it. We're going to have to move him way up on the dude list. So that's the way things look there for right now. Now, as we jump into the Q&A, you got Dave, the man, it looks like, says, Paul has never been pressured by the likes of Tyson. Mike will be on him inside. Mike's muscle memory will lay a lullaby on the young man. And that's what people are saying, but I don't know, man. We're not going to know till this fight really starts, and we can see the first round and how this thing is going down. And then if it goes deeper into the fight, how Tyson looks as this thing continues. But yeah, a lot of people think Tyson's is gonna finish Jake Paul. We'll see. Got someone else weighing in saying Macho Man much. Yeah. I guess the glasses kind of look like that a little bit. At Kloss MMA says Olberg sleeps Hill, to be honest. At Venom, Mitch Stage fights to get the UFC call. So, you know, it doesn't, yeah, he did, but the bottom line is he got the call and he's here. So now he's got to make it happen. But good point. Another one says you kind of look like Nick Diaz. So you see what you got to deal with? You got one person saying you look like Macho Man Randy Savage and another person saying you look like Nick Diaz. Neither guy looks nothing alike to me. And then how do you play off that? At Fahed says, interesting. I know Costa has been inactive, but I got him winning the fight if he pressures Sean. Otherwise, I can see Sean taking him to a decision by throwing more volume. And yeah, that's very possible. And that's kind of what I think will happen, is if it does go to a decision, it's going to be an easy one because Sean Strickland is just going to, you know, that weird style slows down your opponent, keeps them off guard. We see that with Alex Pereira as well. And you just completely slow them down. So the activity for Strickland's going to be there. For Costa, it's going to be a rough night. At Homework is back, says the no gas tank is a myth in terms of Khamzat Chimaev. Yeah, it is a myth. One, he went down in welterweight, right? He was weak. Another one, he's at middleweight, he gets injured, so we really don't know. But he's not going to be fooled by Robert Whittaker. He's going to go in there and try to finish him in the first or second round and not worry about a gas tank because he knows he's got one. Another person weighing into it is going to end in a draw. Talking about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. There are no judges. It can't end in a decision. It's called a fixed fight. Well, the fact is now there are judges, and there will be a winner, more than likely. Now, if it is a draw, then we'll come back to this, of course. But I think someone's definitely winning this fight, in my opinion. I mean, I think that's the case. Someone's got to win this fight, or people are going to be, the controversial stories are going to really come to pass if that fight ends in a draw. But listen, that's what's going on in the world of MMA. We wanted to get out here quick and bring it to you. But that's a wrap for today. We'll be back throughout the week breaking down UFC 302. Hope you'll have a great day, and God bless. As always, peace.